Hey, what's up everyone? So I've been really busy lately, so this is way later than it should be. On top of that, I've had a whole bunch of issues while recording this. Tried using an alternate audio setup and it just didn't work out, so I lost all the audio for the first part of the review. I also lost all of the footage, but managed to get that back. And with Wonderfest the day after tomorrow and a whole bunch of releases coming out soon, I just don't have the time to redo it. So here's pretty much the abridged version of the intro. The box. It's small. Bandai Tamashii Nations blah blah blah. Naruto. Pictures on the back. Let's bust it open. Stuff inside. Instructions. So that's it. On to aesthetics. So now moving on to aesthetics, and this is a great looking figure. It looks undeniably like Naruto. Straight away my initial impressions are that most aspects about this figure are really good. From a distance, the sculpt and paint look really nice on this figure. For the most part, the paint job looks really good. The sculpt looks really nice with a lot of detailed spikes up here in the hair, as well as some smaller detailed parts here and there as well. SHFIGUARTS figures always look pretty good from a distance, but that's not always the case when you get in a little bit closer. As for the sculpt on the body here, it is really good with a lot of nice folds in the clothes. There's also a few nice details like here on the shoulder and around here on the back. Like I mentioned, from a distance the hair looks really good, but that's not really the case in closer. I'll have a look at the head in a second now. They've also paid some nice attention to detail, like here on the side of the pants you can see the seam line of the trousers, which looks really good. Moving up to the head, and the default face here looks really nice, but there's one thing I have to complain about this, and it's the hair. From a distance it does look really nice, but up close there's a lot of mold lines throughout those spikes in the hair. And that does look a bit messy when you really get close to it. Onto the color, and as I've said, for the most part, it's very nicely executed. The colors are very anime accurate, but the style of shading used on this does take away from that a little bit in my opinion. The orange parts appear to be shaded with black instead of a darker orange, and this makes it look a little bit dirty, I think. It does look very nice, but could have looked a little better. However, the paint application on this figure is pretty much flawless. Just look at this straight line here down the zipper. There's no wiggly lines at all, and that silver paint looks really good. Also, the detail on the shoulder here is very well executed as well, for something with such minute detail like the two little red parts at the top and bottom there. Again, here on the back where these three different colors intersect, there's no messy lines or splashes anywhere. It looks really good. And even the toes down here are pretty well painted as well. Back up to the head again, and those eyes are in a really nice striking blue. The whiskers or whatever there on the cheeks look really nice, and those lines are perfect. The symbol up here on that plate is super sharp and looks so good. The hair has also been given this weird shadowing effect, which is just kind of an airbrush blast of dark orange. It does absolutely nothing to individually highlight the spikes of the hair, but one thing it does really highlight are these mold lines all over the hair here, which is a disappointment because from a distance, this hair does look pretty epic. As for details, and here I'm kind of repeating myself a bit, but the plate on the head there, like I said, looks amazing. This nice sculpted detail on the shoulder, again, really nice as well. The bandage on the leg, looking great as well, and that's pretty much it, I think. So far so good, and the SHFIGUARTS Naruto is looking really good so far. As for height, Naruto comes in at about 14 centimeters, so pretty average for a figure that comes into the 1:12 scale range. So here is Naruto with everything that it comes with, and this is a pretty impressive set of accessories, I must say. So moving from right to left, we've got two kunai over here, three alternate faces, which is awesome, this blue effect part over here, this pouch, and an impressive 11 alternate hands, and including the default fists, that's 13 in total. So now let's take a closer look at all the accessories. So first up is the kunai, and this looks really good. Painted in a dark metallic grey here, the handle's also in white here with some very nice shading. To attach the kunai, you just use this holding hand here, and just squeeze that in here, and there you go. He doesn't seem to hold this very securely though. Not so bad this way around though. Still a bit loose. Next up is the awesome looking Rasengan blue effect part. So this is in a clear blue which looks really good with some nice white highlighting on here. So that looks awesome. As for the effect part, just attach this peg in the palm here and to this hole in the bottom, just like this. Next up is the pouch here with some really nice detailing on the flap here, like this little button, and the paint job is really nice as well. To attach this little pouch, you just stick this little peg here on this side into this butthole here, like so. Onto the hands, and first we have the default fists, as well as a pair of widespread open hands, some widespread open hands with the fingers slightly bent, a thumbs up hand, or it can be a thumbs down if you want to tell someone to fuck, a pair of hands with the index and middle finger extended, a pair of hands for holding the kunai, as well well as this spread hand with this peg here for using the blue effect part. I really have to point out these hands look amazing. Changing the hands is pretty simple. You just pop that off like this, then stick on the one that you want like this. As for alternate faces, we have this grinning face, which is pretty similar to the default face, just with that little bit of a grin. We also have this awesome shouting face, which is probably my favorite of the bunch. It looks really good. And last is this pretty standard looking expressionless face, which also looks really good as well. So that's it for the accessories. Let's check out Naruto in some poses. So now moving on to articulation, and let's see if Naruto has the flexibility of a ninja. So as usual, I'll be working from the head down. So articulation at the neck, all the way down and all the way up. That's pretty good, not so bad. Side to side, also pretty good. And that can move all the way around. Yeah, both buttholes, front, back, and sides. Articulation at the shoulder all the way up, and that can also rotate all the way around 360 degrees. There's also another joint in the shoulder here that can move that in and out a little bit, so that's pretty cool. Now the bend at the elbow, and that is a pretty good bend there. The waist joint, side to side, and that is really good. To the back and to the front, also really nice as well, but that does open up the back a little bit. Inside the hip joint here, there's this little part that can move up and down. It might be a little hard to see in there, but that gives it some up and down motion like this, which will make a lot of motions like this much more effective. So now let's see that kick all the way up to the front, all the way out to the back, and then all the way out to the side. So it can almost do the splits, not all the way. The bend at the knee all the way back, and that looks really nice. That's a good bend there. And at the ankle, all the way down and all the way up, as well as there is some side to side motion there as well. And lastly, there's the bend at the toe, and that's awesome. Now moving on to quality, and for the most part this is a really awesome figure, but it is weighed down by those typical SHFIGUARTS issues. Like I mentioned, the paint job here is awesome, besides that odd shading on the hair up here, which highlights the mold lines in the hair. But besides that, the paint job is pretty solid. Again, the sculpt is awesome too, and all of those joints are super solid. So like I said, the quality for the most part is pretty tight, but the issues here are stupid quality control issues that could easily be avoided. There's mold lines all over the place where they don't need to be, as well as gate marks like this which should be cleaned up. But worst of all is this here, which is pretty much a big gaping hole in its leg. Of course this won't be present on all figures, but it sucks to think that with a figure line you're pretty much playing Russian roulette when you're picking a box off the shelf. You could end up with a figure that's pretty much perfect, or you could end up with something like this. And this I think is entirely unacceptable, and I've seen this on a lot of SHFIGUARTS figures. The quality tends to be just all over the place with these. But I'll just stress here that for the most part the quality is amazing. I just wish Bandai would tighten up a bit on its quality control, but otherwise an awesome figure. So that's it for my review of the SHFIGUARTS Naruto. This is definitely on the better side of the SHFIGUARTS spectrum. As I've mentioned before, I've got mixed feelings on the line in general. But for the most part, this is a good one. The sculpt is amazing, the paint is very clean, and for the most part looks really good. I'm not a big fan of that black on orange shading. I do think it should be a darker orange, but it still looks good, a little bit muddy though. The detailing is perfect, it looks really good, and it's got some of the best hands I've seen on a posable figure to date. Nice set of accessories, and I particularly like the blue effect part. The kunai also look awesome as well. An awesome selection of hands, and 4 faces in total. It's pretty awesome. That's a pretty decent selection. So I would say if you're a Naruto fan, I would recommend this figure. Maybe I'm just overly picky about some quality aspect, but if you're shelling out between 3,000 to 4,000 or 5,000 yen on a figure, you want it to be well made. So again, if I'm overly critical, I do apologize. But again, I think all Naruto fans should get themselves one of these, and it is a good figure. So again, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and come back again for more figure reviews.